I'm only one drink away from the devil. I'm only one call away from home.
Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy Show. We're on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Apple. Govy, this is our Christmas show. Christmas is Monday. And believe it or not, this is our 29th episode. We started this thing as a lark, and now we're 29 episodes in. We're over 230,000 listeners. But we're also doing these reels, 50, 60-second reels every day. We put 3 up on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And each reel is getting about 2,000 views. So we're getting 18,000 people viewing us every day. So besides being a sex symbol, you are a podcast superstar. Anyway, let's go over your picks of the week, Govy.
So, quickly, picks of the week. Again, it's going to be another favorite type of weekend. So we're going to go with the Buffalo Bills, minus 12.5 over the Chargers, who fired their coach and they're reeling and their season's over. You got the Green Bay Packers, who are fighting for the last playoff spot, so it's minus 5 over the Panthers. You got the Texans that are in a dogfight for a spot with the Browns, so I'm going to take the Texans minus 3 over Cleveland. The Detroit Lions minus 3 over the Vikings. And I like the Miami Dolphins minus 1.5 over the Dallas Cowboys.
And how about the Eagles? What do they look like? Playing the New York Giants.
Well, the Eagles are a 13.5-point favorite, so
You think they can beat the Giants?
I don't know. You know what? They might win by they could be up by 20 and then give up a meaningless touchdown at the end and you lose. So it's a lot of points for the Eagles right now.
So another loser of the week is Normal Lear. Unfortunately, he passed away. He had some great TV shows, which probably you couldn't do today. I have them written down. Had the Jeffersons, George Jefferson. That was fun.
Moving on up.
Moving on up. George's favorite line was he had enough green to cover his black. Then, of course, we had Archie Bunker.
Yeah, Archie Bunker.
All in the Family. That was a great one. Then there was Maude. Remember Maude?
Right.
She was great. And then, of course, Sanford and Sons. Sanford and Sons was great. But anyway...
Did he do Good Times?
He did Good Times. Yeah, with J.J. Walker, right?
Right.
And he's a conservative. Who's he go out with? What's the name of that girl?
Ann Coulter.
Ann Coulter.
No one would believe that. No
he
one
does. Here, can you get a picture, Ben, of
No
Ann
one would
Coulter
believe
and
that.
J.J. Walker? Can you find them?
Yeah, that Ann Coulter, who, by the way, in 2016, when everybody asked her, who do you think's going to be the next president of the United States? And when she said Donald Trump, everybody laughed. And then, she kind of disappeared for a while.
Right.
But she's with J.J.
Right.
Walker.
I
Dynamite.
did see her last year up in Palm Beach at one of the restaurants. She's a beautiful girl. Anyway, cut out a couple articles from the New York Post, my favorite newspaper. And not only is the stock market on fire, but they have the... over the holidays, it appears that the hookers in Manhattan are making about $34,000 a week. It's just unbelievable. And but for some reason, they're not doing their math so well. They start for an hour at $1,300 an hour. If they stay overnight, they get $7,000 for the whole night. But if they go away for the whole weekend, you only get $12,000. So it seems like it's a cheaper deal to get the whole weekend than just for a sleepover overnight for $7,000.
I don't know. I think it's. I think New York right now. I think it's basically legal. I mean, if you can assault somebody and not go to jail, they're not worried about that. You got 12,000 illegal immigrants coming in per day. Heading to, I mean, they're not allowed to work right now. They don't have work visas. What do you think they're doing?
Yeah, maybe they're doing this.
All it has to take is if 2,000, 3,000.
Right.
Walking the streets, it's going to be, so that's. But look, New Yorkers have to get used to that. They have to walk out. They got to step over needles, drug addicts, hookers.
So you don't think Letitia James is going to be indicting any of these hookers that are working in New York?
Well, she hasn't really been on the streets of New York. She's been busy in the courthouse,
Right.
looking at Donald Trump to make sure that that since there was no victims, she just wanted to make sure.
Now, is that trial over yet? I'm not following it
No,
anymore.
I think it comes back January. But
Unbelievable. They're spending so much time on this trial.
how about all the money that they're spending on these states trying to get him off the ballot?
How about Colorado? What do you think's going to happen there?
It's going to be a 9-0 decision that it gets thrown out, and that will take care of all the other states that are trying to do the same thing. Matter of fact, that guy Jack Smith, the investigator, he got turned down today by the Supreme Court, so they can no longer expedite his thing, which means it will now go on until.
That's a Harvard word, Govy. Expedient.
Yeah, and then go on until after. I didn't plagiarize it though, and then we can, and then you can, and then basically, if he's president, he can pardon himself.
Well, let's talk about that. President of Harvard being accused of plagiarism. I mean, isn't that something pretty easy to prove? You either plagiarized or you didn't. I think in reading these articles about what she did, she says that she copied a lot of stuff, and she didn't give recognition to the people that wrote it.
She basically took a book and put quotes on either side of it, and then took credit for basically a whole passage.
So she did it only 46 times. It wasn't egregious.
Well, they kind of figured that when the first time she did it and got caught, they figured that, when someone plagiarizes and they get away with it, generally it's not your first time. So then they looked into her and they found out that it was 46 more other times. Now, what's coming out today is the person who put all the pressure on keeping her was Barack Obama.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, he went to Harvard, and so did his wife.
He was the one that went to bat and went and actually wanted her to see if she could see her way through this. So now again, it's going to turn back that it's going to look bad for Barack Obama. It's going to look bad for all these people on the board and the corporation, and she's going to be out. I give it right after Christmas. She'll be gone.
I saw this African-American, very brilliant newscaster talking about it, and she said this is racial discrimination. And I'm just saying, come on. The woman plagiarized, and this whole protesting thing. I mean, there's no reason to bring race into this. It's just so unfair.
Well, 34 Harvard students got kicked out of school last year for plagiarizing for something much less. How's that racist? It is what it is. They have a code of conduct. You just got to follow it.
And then, of course, we have this thing with CVS and Rite Aid with facial recognition, where I think it's Rite Aid. It's no longer in the store. I mean, do you want people knowing what you're buying at Rite Aid? Like if you're going in there to buy diapers or Preparation H or stuff like that, do you want people knowing that? I think it's a bad thing. I mean, I know Dolan had that issue at the Madison Square Gardens. But
he did it for the lawyers. He tried to keep out the lawyers who were suing him for the thing. So it was unbelievable. It was face recognition to all these lawyers that would show up to a Knicks game, and he would stop them from coming in the arena because they were part of a law firm that was suing him.
But don't you think we're carrying this a little too far? I mean, this technology, where facial recognition, I mean, getting a little too familiar in our lives.
Well, I think some of I think some of it's good, some of it's could be negative. One of the negative things is when you read that some of these companies, they get a breach and someone compromised your information, and now all of a sudden someone compromises, say, Rite Aid or CVS's information. They know everything you bought. I mean, I think that would be, if you're
I think it's a problem.
If you're running for office and you bought, I don't know. You bought herpes cream.
Right.
You wouldn't want that to be put out there.
But the problem is you're really getting too familiar with people. I think people need privacy. They asked Mark Zuckerberg when he was in front of Congress what hotel he stayed at the night before, and he wouldn't tell him. He had a privacy issue with it. I think we're getting to the point now where we're just getting too familiar, and I think people are entitled to their privacy. I'm reading here now that Cameron Diaz is even saying that she is a strong proponent of separate bedrooms with her husband. She does not want to be in the same bedroom sleeping at night. She can go in the bedroom to do all the other stuff, but at the end of the night, she wants a separate bedroom.
Does she have face recognition when it comes into the thing, really?
No, he snores, and she doesn't want to be part of the snoring.
By the way, I think that's probably, I would say it's more than 50% of the homes out there that there are a lot of people that sleep in separate bedrooms. Especially the older you get, you're set in your ways. Someone wants to go to sleep at 10 o'clock at night. Some people are night owls and they're up until 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's interesting. In my career, I built 16,000 houses. I never built a house with 2 master bedrooms.
I don't think you need 2 master bedrooms. I think you could have built a master bedroom and then a guy's,
retreat area.
Retreat area. I would be okay with that.
What's that, Ben?
I was just saying, like a man cave.
A man cave.
Like a man cave.
But
nice.
off of the bedroom, not like downstairs where he's
Oh,
sitting there.
like
I'm talking like a place where he can go and
But you
sleep
can still hear the snoring.
Nah, you get
If
up.
it's right there, they can hear the
You get up,
snoring.
you watch TV. I go to sleep late. I go to sleep at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 7.
Yeah, you don't sleep.
I don't sleep.
So now we have this issue of LeBron James. He went to see his son play, and the national anthem came on. LeBron James, arguably one of the greatest basketball players of all time, besides Michael Jordan and half a dozen others. And the national anthem came on, and he didn't stand for it. He sat. What do you think of that, Govy? I mean, this is
I think
all
it's
these
not,
kids.
I think he does so many things. He does a lot of things right.
You're taking the other side of this.
He does a lot of things
I'm
wrong.
going to take the other
He
side.
does a lot of things wrong. I think in this case, I understand he does it for every game, even in his high school, because he doesn't want the whole crowd to turn around and stop play. So he does it during the national anthem where he can kind of sneak in without him interrupting the whole game and the announcement. So this is one area where he's trying to do it to avoid all the stuff, but there's so many things he does wrong, There's a general manager for the 76ers, Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey spoke out against China and the sweatshops and about, the slaves that are in China. He turned around and told Daryl Morey that he's an idiot and he should learn before he should do his research before he speaks. This is LeBron James telling Daryl Morey. When in reality, is Daryl Morey is 100% right. It's LeBron James is the one who's making money off of these sweatshops, and he's the one that's wrong.
Well, LeBron James, besides being a great basketball player, he is, for these little kids coming up, everybody idolizes him, and he's a role model. And I think it's absolutely wrong for him not to take the second or 2 seconds to stand for the national anthem. The fact that he's walking into the game just as the national anthem is playing, he doesn't think everybody's staring at him?
Well, you do remember he was one of the guys that took a knee.
It's terrible.
So,
I mean, he's a billionaire. America's great. America's great to him.
It goes back to me, the whole thing taking the knee, it goes back to...
Colin Kaepernick started it.
Well, you have all these owners who, a lot of them are Jewish, and they had no problem at all putting Black Lives Matter on the end zones, on the basketball courts, on the back of helmets. But for some reason, I don't know why they don't have anything with supporting Israel on the ball fields, end zones, back of the... I don't understand how, we are with you. We stand with Israel. Should be behind every end zone in the NFL.
So do you think the Eagles owner's Jewish, Jeffrey Lurie? Do you think he wants people to know he's Jewish?
I think most people will know he's Jewish, and it's not just him. You can go around the league. There's
Arthur Blank, Atlanta.
You can go on and on and on. You can get Robert Kraft, New England. You can just
Miami, Ross.
Yeah, you can. There's so many, and I think that the problem is the propaganda that's out there that the Jewish side isn't coming out as strong as the Palestinian side and the Hamas side. So I think that if you really want to bring awareness, let 300 million people look at a football game on a Sunday afternoon, morning till night when the game's over. And when they see we stand with Israel, all of a sudden maybe it gives them a little bit more awareness to look into it rather than standing with.
Well, maybe your
'cause they like
TV,
the football.
maybe your national TV won't allow it.
What do you mean they won't allow it?
They're saying, well, then you have to give equal time to the Palestinians. I mean, if you're going to put on the
Well,
field,
Black Lives Matter, but they didn't give equal time to all lives matter.
but if you're going to put on the field, you know, we're pro-Jewish. The Palestinians,
his
some
field.
lawyer, some scumbag lawyer is going to say, you know, I think my clients, these Palestinians, want Palestinians'
No,
lives
they
to
could
matter.
say, get your own team. Get your own team or don't watch. Turn the channel. Boycott. Do
It's
whatever
not
you
fair.
want.
The owner's Jewish,
So,
there's no Palestinian owners.
Palestinians could have done a lot of things. They built tunnels. They could have had other things. I mean, I could turn around and say they had a lot of money. They chose to build tunnels. Someone else decided to build how to take salt water and make it regular drinking water. I mean, it's all priorities.
Well, do you think any of these owners were on Jerry Epstein's jet? You know,
Yes.
the list of names, what is it, 150 names?
177 names, and it comes out.
You're not on it, Gabby. You're not on
on
that. You're not on the. Ben, are you on that list? Nobody's on that
Not on
list.
that
I'm not
list.
on the list. He never invited me on the plane. But 177 names are coming
A
out.
lot of politicians.
First week of January, folks. Get ready.
Right. Boy, you know, Menendez is on it.
How about Bill Clinton? He's on
He's
it.
on it. He's already like.
Bill Gates is on it. It cost him
Gates.
$30 billion.
Cost him his marriage.
How about Jeff Bezos? Was he on it?
I don't know if Jeff Bezos was on there, but you have Prince Andrew was on it, and it cost him.
Right.
He's like.
Right.
I mean, how much further away can you go from the from Buckingham Palace? I mean,
They're releasing the whole list
Yes.
of
The whole
list.
everybody.
Well,
Every
you're gonna
name.
see-
Are you on it, Ben?
You're
No.
going to see people that are going to try to appeal it at the last minute, but you know. But like I said, Prince Andrew. I mean, how far are they going? Where are they going to put him in Ireland? Is there a cottage there that they're going to move him to? I mean, he's already lost everything, and now it's like this. I mean, by the way, he paid $12 million. I mean, this guy just keeps paying, and it's. But
How
there's
about if King Charles is on it?
King Charles isn't on it?
How do you know? 177 names are coming out. You're going to be shocked.
He's with Camilla.
Yeah,
I mean,
boy.
you really think he's
I
on it?
can't figure that out. He's married to Lady Di, and then he goes to Camilla.
I mean, but you look at there's going to be a lot of other people that are Fortune 500 companies that were on there.
So let's say
And politicians.
Let's say you're running a Fortune 500 or Fortune 50 company, and you're on it. Let's say you're the president of Comcast or whatever you are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you get fired? Do you think if you were on his plane
Now they have to.
and your name comes out of the 177 names, and I am CEO of Aetna?
Plane doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, the plane's going to Pedophile
Well, if
Island.
the
It
plane's
means a
going
lot.
if the plane's going to the island, because don't
Yeah.
forget, he flew a lot of other places. But if the plane is going to the island, you're in some serious trouble.
you
got-
get fired.
Yeah, you're. I don't know if you're fired, but you're in some. You're in damage control, and you're certainly not calling up. You're certainly not calling up Harvard's geniuses on damage control because you know they stink.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
terrible.
They're not good at damage
But
control.
do you think if the wife finds out you were on the pedophile jet,
Depends. Are you talking first wife, second wife, third
the
wife?
current wife?
Well, no. Depends.
No,
If
I'm
she's your-
saying-
if she's your third wife and she found out that you were on this pedophile island before she came, before third wife,
Right, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Doesn't
Right.
make a difference.
All right, is
And
that
it might
part,
not even count after the fact.
is that part of the disclosure section of the prenuptial agreement where you have, you know, whether you're on pedophile island or not?
I don't think that that they ever thought that would come out. Listen, this
Yeah, it's horrible.
ancestry.com stuff. There's a lot of people that never would have signed up for ancestry.com knowing that it's one day going to come back to seeing all the murders.
No, not only that, people now find out they have children they didn't know they had.
Right.
And
by the way, they're
know some.
also finding out by relatives. So now they can take yours. Let's say you didn't sign up for Ancestry.com, and I see someone that like has a match. If your brother signed up, it will come out to Big Al, and all of a sudden they then go to his lineage, and maybe it comes back to you.
See, again, I think like this facial recognition, this ancestry, it's getting a little crossing lines here of your privacy.
But let me ask you a question. When you say crossing the lines, everybody likes to be, you don't want to be inconvenient. The Philadelphia Phillies use facial recognition now. So when you enter the stadium, if you can just walk right in without being, where they know you're okay. I think that, when you go through a line and it's cold outside and they're checking your bags and then you need the clear bag and there's something really good about that. You can walk in and know it's like it's a TSA checkpoint to know like you're okay to go into the arena without waiting in a line because some idiot is trying to bring a knife into the building.
I'll give you an example. Obviously, you're the Watch King. You sell all this jewelry. Now, if you vote, you fill out this voter registration form. And on this voter registration, it has your home address. It has your cell phone number. It has all this information about you that is private. Now, I didn't know that the voter registration form is posted on the internet.
I did.
You didn't. I would have lied. I would not have given my real self. I don't have that cell phone. I don't have that, or 230,000 listeners. I don't have that cell phone number anymore. Don't look.
I was shocked to see how much information it is. It goes down not only to
and it's right on. If you Google Jeff Goldberg voter registration, it says it.
I'm Govy, not
Govy. I'm sorry.
but anyway, it doesn't just give you, your telephone number and everything. It gives all the addresses that you lived at. So it tells you that you lived in Villanova, Gladwin, Bryn Mawr, blah, 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 blah. It tells you every place you live and to where you're at now.
It's crazy. I think it's too much information, and I would have never filled the form out the way, I'm an honest guy. So I see this form, I'm voting, so I'm figuring I have to properly fill it out. And then I forget who told me, one of my relatives said, geez, I just saw your voter registration form with all your information on it.
And tells everybody, by the way, what you are. They, so just let's just say.
Well, people know what you are, Govy. You're a Republican.
we are, but it's like, what? Sometimes you don't want to, it's a way, how many people do you see walking around, by the way, that are Republicans that don't wear a red hat that says "Make America Great"?
True.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many people voted for Biden that don't have a bumper sticker that says Biden? Let's go Biden.
Right. Yeah, well, I would imagine you wouldn't put a bumper sticker on your car. It's like these guys walking around now. For some reason, lately, I'm seeing a lot of guys wearing yarmulkes, walking around. I guess they're Orthodox Jews. Right. They're wearing yarmulkes. I saw 5 today. Right. And I'm saying to myself, well, right now, everybody's running around, kill the Jews, hate the Jews, I hate the Jews, and you're walking around with a yarmulke. I mean, that's a little, hello, it's like a Larry Dave moment. I mean...
It is a crazy times right now that you got.
Would you wear a yarmulke? Would you walk around with a yarmulke right now?
Well, I never did. But I wouldn't wear one. I wouldn't wear one now.
In the environment we're in right now.
But it's like the other day, I wore my Harvard T-shirt, and I'm at the resort, and there was a guy walking towards me, and he was wearing a Harvard T-shirt.
Did he ask you where you lived?
And he looked at me.
What dorm were you in?
He looked at me, and he tried to give me a wink, and I said, "You should be embarrassed."
You said that to him?
I did. And he goes, "Are you embarrassed?" I said, "I'm embarrassed that I bought this shirt. I didn't go there. I bought the shirt." Like something like that. But I said, it was interesting. And then, I walked in 10 feet further and I bumped into a friend that we would know. And he said to me, "What are you wearing that shirt for?" He goes, "You're Jewish. What are you wearing that shirt for? Take it off." I mean, it's really offensive to a lot of people.
It's crazy right now. So let's talk a little bit about Joy Behar. You have a little comment on her, since I brought up LeBron James.
Joy Behar the far left, they talk about democracy. Democracy is everything. It's the most important thing in the world for them is democracy. Yet she can make a comment that basically says, well, I think that we need the court system to somehow stop Donald Trump no matter what, because Joe Biden's going to lose to him.
Think about that.
So she's basically saying we can't do it the legal way, so let's do it through the courts and try to make it where we can do it. So non-democratic that all they care about is winning their way, and the rules are always for them. And it's interesting. You see Arizona now. People want to put up like barbed wire for illegals coming in. When Texas put up barbed wire, all of a sudden, the government said you got to take it down. They wanted to put buoys up. You got to take it down. But when Chicago wants to block the buses from coming in, they haven't appealed that yet. And by the way, Abbott is sending trains, buses, all these people coming in. He's sending them to all sanctuary cities.
Well, think about what it costs them to house and feed these people in Texas. It's cheaper to rent a jet and send them away. And it becomes Chicago's problem.
Train? How about just put them on a train that goes in there?
Think about it. What is it, $12,000 a day? Can you?
It's each month is $360,000 roughly, which is the
going into Texas.
It's the city. It's the size of Detroit or Kansas City every month coming into the United States.
Wow.
And by the way, male military age coming from Africa. And you heard the guy today. One was coming to Philadelphia. Why? He had a little piece of paper in his pocket to go there. So you get people like Joy Behar she's a clown show.
Well, I just can't believe that she's still employed. How can you vocalize that? How can you say that on national TV and still have your job? We can say it because we're on a podcast. But you're working for a national TV. You're working for a national ABC.
In their news division. And that's
how about
the news division.
We haven't taken on any sponsors yet. You and I are underwriting the show, even though we've had a lot.
I feel like we're like the masters during that boycott.
Because we can say anything we want. We're not beholden to anybody's money. But even
though we would appreciate Cadillac or IBM.
Well, if they come around, they throw us an Escalade or something. That free cell phone. But we have to talk about the advertisers on these ABCs, NBCs that are sitting there and hear this woman say something that ignorant, right. and they don't put pressure on the channel to get rid of her. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Right. I agree that there's
how can somebody vocalize
there's no repercussions. It's unbelievable. And then they turn it around and whatever goes on. Look, they're jealous of networks like Fox because their audience is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The more the Israeli war comes on, they're picking up more and more viewers.
Though I've been watching CNN lately, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, but
CNN's good.
But you know why? Because they're giving you the Israeli-Palestine war.
Yeah.
But they're not giving you the Hunter Biden being on the helicopter. They're not giving you the James Biden who didn't pay taxes, as now it turns out, as Hunter Biden. They're not giving you the...
Pay your taxes. That's what Joe Biden said.
How many times does he whisper?
Pay your taxes.
Yeah, your fair share. Meanwhile, he can't even get his son or his brothers to pay their taxes.
How about it? I'm trying to figure it out. The guy was a senator for his whole life, making $150,000 a year. He put 2 kids through law school and Yale undergrad. He has these mansions he lives in, and he still saved up enough money to lend his brother $200,000. How the hell can you do that?
Right. And by the way, when you get the check back and he says it's for payment of a loan,
don't you have to prove it?
Don't you have to? Doesn't Joe Biden have to prove where he got that he showed the funds that he lent him $200,000?
Right. Doesn't the IRS say on an audit, okay, you wrote loan repayment here.
Prove that you gave him the money.
Yeah, prove that you gave him the money or it's income, Joe.
Right.
Pay your taxes, Joe.
Right.
Pay your taxes. I mean, it's just,
and that girl that tried to protect them, the one that was part of the investigation who now stepped away all of a sudden.
Yeah.
She stepped away from the Weiss because she took the Fifth 79 times, that she's not answering any questions.
But let's go back to Israel a little, because I made a prediction here. I think when Cutty Jr. was on the show, Cutman Jr., I said the war. You asked me how long I think the war's going to last, and I said another month. That was 2 weeks ago. I think Israel's starting to take a real pounding from the world because of the civilian deaths, it's casualty of war, the destruction of Palestine, and I think they're talking about ending this war very quickly.
I disagree. I tell you what.
And another hostage showed up dead
but
today.
There's another, but they said that he died in October 7th. And I tell you what, there's a lot of numbers that are coming out. Do you know that 20% of all Israeli defense forces, the Israeli army, 20% of all the casualties is from friendly fire.
So you're saying if there's 100 IDF soldiers that died, 20
were
killed by Israelis
by their own
mistake.
Tanks, their own airstrikes,
That's
their own
believable.
bullets, which is a lot, though. Which is like, because
But what's the statistic in war? Is that a normal statistic?
it's very high because they're going into bunkers.
Oh,
They're going
yeah.
in. So believe me, Israel doesn't have an army like China. So for them to lose 20 people on friendly fire, it's a lot. So they know how they got to get rid of this Hamas. Like, they can't turn back and say, okay, we did the job halfway. It'll be rebuilt. They keep finding tunnels every day. They gotta end it. And I think that they're going to go up to the United States and say, what are you going to do, Joe? And by the way, just to let you know, it came out that when Xi came to San Francisco and met with Biden, he said to Biden, we're taking over Taiwan.
Yeah.
100%.
But he said we're going to take it over, but it may not be by military force.
Okay. He said, but we are taking it over.
Yeah, he told him he's taking it
Okay.
over, but it may not be by military force.
Well, I don't think Taiwan's is just saying, okay, let's negotiate.
Yeah,
I don't think they're doing that.
I don't know what he's going to do. Shut off their power.
So I
or
don't
whatever.
think Israel, when it really comes down to it, I don't think they're going to listen to Joe Biden. I think they're going to do what they have to do. And I think there's going to be other countries that know that they have to take them out. They can't live with them. So they're going to continue to wipe out Hamas. And
well, they need the military aid from the United States of America.
And where is the first aid that they're supposed to go in? Isn't the Red Cross supposed to go in there to check on the hostages? Isn't that what they do for every other hostage?
Right.
How come that hasn't happened? How come when anytime there's a disaster in another country, and I can name you like 50 countries, Israel's always one of the first countries there to help. Let it be...
Well, it's obvious. Everybody hates the Jews right now.
And do you know how many other countries came to Israel? Zero. Zero
Look
there
at the
to help.
UN.
Right. So Israel, though, by the way, if there's a building collapse in Ecuador, there's the Israelis there with bombs, with sniffing dogs to come up. I mean, so Israel is realizing they're on this alone, and that's how they got to do it that way.
But why do you think that the news coverage has been so prominent? If Israel's so hated by the world, why do you think that the reporting, at least from my perspective, has been very fair? I mean,
Right.
I don't
think ABC World News Tonight is very fair. I think they give you a very, I think a lot of the news, and you see from the colleges, I think that these kids are being brainwashed from the time they were in middle school, high school, and college.
Who's these kids? The
Students.
producer?
No, students
Okay.
who then go to college. Their professors in their news things, journalism school, communication school, is giving them their views. So when they take these jobs for ABC News, for the Chicago Tribune, to the New York Times, they're giving you their perspective. So they're describing you the war through their eyes, through their lens, not 50-50.
I don't see it that way.
I do.
Do you really?
I think David Muir and ABC News, I think is so.
I think it's been
distorted.
fair and balanced.
Well, if you want fair and balanced, watch Fox.
Well, somebody could make the argument about Fox. I like Fox, but everybody could say, look, that's a very different view. That's a very conservative view. Now, you see Jeff Zucker, the guy that used to run CNN, is about to buy CNN back. He's about to, put an investment group together and buy CNN. So it's going to go back to the way it was.
Back to the way it was with bashing Fox again, or going back to try to be on the same playing field and by giving basically being neutral.
Well, it's going to go back to the way Jeff Zucker ran it, for the last 10 years.
Their death was they fed on the ratings of Trump or by bashing him, but when Trump lost, they had nothing left. So I think this time around he's not going to be the bashing of Trump. So I don't think that that's going to happen. I hope he does take it back, and you get to see another view. MSNBC is just.
So this past week, I was up in the Northeast for the week. I just got back last night, and it was 19 degrees up there. Didn't have a winter coat. I wore my sweatshirt around. And I went to the gym every morning up there. The gym I belong to down here, there's reciprocity, so they have the same gym up there. But my point is, I did see Santa Claus up there. He was in the back of a pickup truck, waving at everybody. But it seems that the people up there are very different than the people down here. It's like...
They're real.
Yeah, it seemed like they were a lot... Down here, it's a little flighty.
They're in the real world. They're in they go, it's the real world, and down here, it's not the real world.
I did have an incident, though, that really drove me crazy. I was after we work out vigorously for an hour and 15 minutes, we go down to the cafe and get our vegan protein shake. Now, I don't know if this has ever happened to you. They're actually training this girl, a new employee, to make this vegan shake. They're training her on my shake that I'm paying $11 for. Now, I'm standing there for at least 15 minutes paying $11 for this shake while they try and train this girl. Why don't they train her on practice shakes that they give away to employees? Why is it on my shake, which wasn't the texture and the thickness that I'm used to?
And at that early of them, what time do you work out?
So 5:30 to 7.
5:30 in the morning.
Right, 5:30 to 7. Well, you're just going to bed at 5:30.
No, I'm going to bed at 4.
4.
But I'm up at 7.
Right, so you're only sleeping. But there I am, I'm exhausted, I'm hungry. I want my fucking shake.
Right.
And this girl, they're training her to make the shake. And I'm a little upset with it. I'm like, train on your own time. Why do I have to wait? Typically, the girl that's there in the morning...
But that's your inner voice talking. That's not your...
almost my outer voice.
But it was your inner voice, right?
My outer voice just said, yo, make my shake. Every morning, the girl that makes my shake makes it in a minute. She sees me come down the stairs. She's already blending it because I give her $15 on an $11 shake. She's getting a 40% tip. So she knows to make that shake. But I didn't like the whole training episode.
Well, I think that sometimes... You have an outer voice and you have an inner voice. And when all of a sudden the outer voice starts taking over the inner voice, you have some problems because you need to be your inner voice a little bit. But I understand.
That's Larry David. He's a social assassin.
Right.
I mean, Larry...
He's an outer voice guy.
Yeah, he would have said, excuse me, every day I give you a $4 tip. I've been waiting here while you're training this girl. It's inappropriate. I think Larry David would have...
I got a story for you. Last night, I was at a restaurant in town.
What restaurant got me?
I won't mention the restaurant because it's a great restaurant. And I was with my daughter, son-in-law, and my wife. And
so you had a big check.
It was going to be a big check and everything. And all of a sudden, it's a great restaurant.
What kind of food was it? All American food?
All American
okay.
food. But I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
If you're going to keep going. So anyway, during the meal, on the floor comes a cockroach that goes under our table, and we see it going towards another table.
Were they going to fry it up? What were they?
So my wife, who doesn't panic or anything, she's, very even keel, goes up to the waiter and says to the waiter.
She didn't step on it? She Gets up.
It was moving. It went. It already was going away, and says to the waiter, who was a very nice guy, a professional guy that you could tell, came from New York in one of these houses, came down here, and she said, there's a cockroach that was moving in that direction, and he kind of like just, blew it off like maybe she's seeing things, like no big deal, and then like 4 minutes later, my wife calls him over. And it's on the wall, and it's about to jump.
How big is it, would you say?
I would say it's about 2 inches.
Okay.
It's pretty big. And it's it's moving towards a lady's blonde hair. And she's at a table of 8 in the back area. And in this back area, there's like 8 other tables. And it's making its move. And he sees it. So he has a split second. If he misses and swats at it, and it ends up on their table, they scream, they get up, and then everything.
Chaos.
Then all the other tables get up, and you start thinking, is there a cockroach in the back? And it's a whole crazy thing. He wets the end of the napkin. He goes up.
He's got a technique.
He goes up. He's never done it before, so this technique is like it's a one-time shot. He goes up to the wall, goes. And nails it. And we watched him nail it. The table didn't even know what took place. The owner of the restaurant went up to him and said, he says, what you do? He says, this is what I did. And he goes, did you get it? And he opens up the napkin, and there's this, smushed cockroach. All of a sudden, the guy was a superstar. He could have had chaos all over this restaurant. They came up to me afterwards, and when we were leaving, I'm ready to pay the check. They go, nope. They kept me there.
Gave it to you for free?
No, they wanted to give us. They gave us desserts.
Was that your cockroach? Did you have it in your?
No,
did you have it in your pocket?
I don't drink anymore. They wanted to give me all these drinks, and I don't drink. So, but they were super nice. They came back, and they just wanted to say that not everybody would have been like my wife. They would have yelled, they would have screamed, they would have had chaos, and they just were very appreciative that she was able to be just so low key. And that they were able to do this without anybody knowing, and they handled it so professional.
Did the guy give you a VIP phone number to call him in the future?
He did.
He did?
He did.
We share that number?
You're there enough that they already know who you are.
Well, look, I don't know the name of the restaurant, but if you're going to say it's Italian or steak or Greek, there's about 10 of each in this town.
But, going back, you're talking about like expensive places. I'm going to tell you who might have a tough time going to expensive places now. Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, jeez.
So let me ask you. Tell me how it plays out. He just declared bankruptcy.
Let's give a little background.
Okay.
This is America's greatest mayor.
Okay.
I don't know about this Donald Trump stuff, but back in 9/11, New York was attacked. He was the mayor of New York, and he literally
Kept it together.
Kept it together. That's the best way to say it.
Wait. Let's go back before 9/11. How about when it was a crime-ridden, disgusting shithole of a city, and he was able to clean up the crime.
Right.
Like literally, he made it where he took Broadway and got out all the peep shows and this. He literally cleaned it up where you were able to walk the streets at 2 o'clock in the morning and feel safe as can be. Subways, everything.
So now he's not mayor anymore. He goes on to his post-mayor job. He gets married a couple times through some vicious divorces, got behind in some support obligations to his wife, I think. There was a bunch of bad press about that. But here you have it. He's working for Donald Trump on the January 6th stuff, trying to have the election overturned. Or not January 6th.
And he's loyal to him. And he's a loyal guy to Donald Trump. He's loyal. Donald Trump's his friend, and he's loyal.
He's loyal to him, and now they rig up this case. 2 election workers. I don't know. I didn't read the case. Is he guilty of besmirching these people's reputation?
So many people tried to hurt Trump, and since he's a loyal soldier, he has literally watched a lot of people try to hurt his guy.
Okay, so these election workers, let's say they're making $50,000 a year. I don't know how much they make. Let's say they make $100,000 a year. Do they deserve a $148 million judgment?
No.
Two people times whatever.
No, it's a joke, and by the way, you can appeal that, but the judge says let's go for the money immediately because there's a chance that if you let him go through the appeal process, he will try to hide his money. So they wanted to fast track it.
Well, every time I tried to, in my business career, tried to appeal a decision, a court decision, you have to post a bond for 120% of the award. So if I lost $100,000 in a case, I had to post a bond for $120,000 to have the right of appeal. I don't know how it is in New York if you have to do it, but if he had to post a bond for
Wasn't it in
180
Georgia?
or Georgia. Was it Georgia?
Georgia.
Yeah. He filed bankruptcy in New York, right. He would have to post a bond for $180 million. Well, where's he going to get a bond for $180 million? But the bottom line...
His house, though, in Florida could be homesteaded, though.
Okay, so they could save that from bankruptcy.
So now he has his house. He gets to keep his house in Florida. He goes bankrupt. And now all his friends, if they want to, they're allowed to give him a gift. You can write a gift, pay the taxes, whatever it is. And they could say to him, he gets his Social Security. They can't take Social Security from him.
But what did he actually do? I don't even understand that he harmed these two women so severely.
He claimed that they rigged the voting system, like they basically...
Did he have proof? Did they do that?
He thinks he had proof, but obviously he was wrong. But there were so many things going on with with the elections and people voting and putting them in these lock boxes. There was a lot of stuff that's taken place because of COVID at the time. It was some special times. There was a lot of cheating going on. A lot of people were dead, were voting. So he kind of didn't have 100% proof, but at the same time, Georgia was a big swing state that he needed Georgia, so he threw that out there that it looked like they were cheating. $148 million, they're never going to see a dime.
I know, but it's terrible for a guy to have to go personally bankrupt. I mean...
He's going to be fine, though.
He'll be fine?
Because
How's he get a credit card?
He doesn't need a credit card. He can get a debit card. You can get a debit card. What's the difference if someone goes up to him and gifts him, here's $1 million?
Who's going to do that?
Why couldn't someone, one of Donald Trump's friends, do it? And Donald Trump pays that guy, a friend of his, $1 million. That friend sends him $1 million gift. The guy
sounds like you're complicit in this, Govy.
I mean,
you haven't figured it out for him.
But the guy pays the taxes on it. Now it's the guy has a gift. Here's your debit card. Your house is homesteaded. Go. And when you need more money, let me know. I'm telling you, he's not going to miss a beat.
All right. Well, I feel bad for him. He was a great mayor, saved America.
We can talk about how about the Los Angeles Dodgers paid Ohani $700 million, and the other Japanese superstar that's in Japan that won the equivalent of like 3 Cy Youngs. He's 25 years old. He's the most sought after free agent since Ohani came. Just signed a 10-year, $350 million contract last night. And do you know who signed him?
Who?
The Los Angeles Dodgers.
So it's $1 billion.
$1 billion to 2 Japanese guys in the city of Los Angeles.
What's the attendance at the
It's
LA?
sold out. It's going to be
every game.
It's going to be sold out every game, and not just sold out every game. Whatever stadium they go to, there will be 20,000 Japanese following this team. The ratings in Japan will go off the charts. The merchandise, the Dodgers are must-see TV, and they are all in for them to win the World Series. And it literally, the Asian market is... you know how like you go around and you see the New York Yankees ball caps everywhere? Like that's the #1 ball cap.
Right.
You're going to see the Los Angeles Dodger ball cap all over the world. And when you go to Tokyo and you go to Osaka and you go to Hiroshima, Fukuoka, you're going to see the...
Is that how he's going to make the $1 billion back, by selling hats?
Well, don't forget there's no revenue sharing in baseball.
Right.
So the owners, they can do whatever they want.
Who owns them? Is that guy from Microsoft
No, isn't
Steve Ballmer?
it? No, isn't it?
Who owns the?
Isn't it whatchamacallit with whatchamacallit Gorsian with the G? Do you know
Some
who?
rich dude.
No, they're a syndicate.
It's who owns the Dodger, right?
Yeah.
Magic was a little bit a part of the. It begins with a G.
Mark Walter is the CEO of the
Guggenheim.
Guggenheim Partners. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, Guggenheim. Wow.
And I think they own other things too. I think they own like the soccer team, this team. So good for them.
Crazy.
Can't wait for them to play the Phillies when they come in and.
You're gonna go see Miami. Miami. There's 5,000 people that come to Miami baseball.
By the way, I think the people from Japan should fly to Miami because that stadium's empty, so they'll all be able
Do
to.
you think this stadium will fill up for these two guys? Do they ever play them?
I think the Japanese market will fill it up, and they'll fly from all over the United States.
That would
to
be
come in
great.
here.
Yeah, it's a great stadium down there.
Let's see. Have we missed anybody that we wanted
Other
to?
than it's Christmas, Govy, the music's playing on the car radio every day.
It's nice out here. We got all these people here waiting for the weather down here to see what happens. It's a little like cloudy and cold, but
I just got here last night from 19-degree weather. This 70,
75.
yeah, I mean,
not
I'm not
bad.
complaining about this. I was freezing my ass off up north. And the problem with these cars today, I guess you could get a car where you can start it from, remotely from the inside of your house.
Right.
But literally in the morning when I'm going to the gym, the heater doesn't kick on for about 10 minutes and I'm already there. It's not a good look.
You know what restaurants are going to do really well on Christmas down here?
The Japanese and Chinese
The
restaurants.
Chinese restaurants,
Yeah.
boy, they're jammed right now.
Right.
There's that place, Golden Palace or something like that?
Yeah, that's where everybody goes, yeah.
Golden Palace. Got my reservations.
All right. Well, everybody, we are blessed. We are on our 29th episode. We have a couple 100,000. Yay, thank you.
And next week, we might even try to take our show on the road.
Right. We have the remote equipment now.
Yeah, we got to
We were going to get a Cutty and Govy jet or remote podcast equipment, and we invested in the remote podcast equipment.
Right, that's exactly right. So I think maybe we hit maybe a Worth Avenue or something
Yeah,
like
we'll
that.
do a man on the street on Worth Avenue.
Yeah, let's do that.
We could stop women and men and talk about their watches. I see you're wearing the Patek Philippe 6212.
Or how they do. Any returns?
Yeah,
What's
any
going on?
returns, what you get for Christmas. Well, folks, thank you very much. Govy, I want to wish you a healthy and a happy New
You
Year.
too.
Merry Christmas.
Go Eagles. They play the New York Giants.
It's been a pleasure doing the show with you for 29 episodes. I'm looking for 29 more.
Yep.
And we've had a lot of fun. It's been fantastic.
So do you think IBM, Cadillac, any of those people are listening for
We're
us?
out there, IBM, Cadillac, anybody want to sponsor
like the
us?
Masters. We're ready.
So you can sponsor us at any time. All we want is $50 a show. Now that we gave you a shout out, we'll raise it to
And
100.
merchandise, we can put a little
Yeah, we have our Cutty and Govy, www.cuttyandgovy.com, our website.
And we will have golf shirts coming up shortly.
Golf shirts from Peter Millar. So they're going to be beautiful, and we're working on a really cool logo. So hopefully that'll be out.
Yep.
All right, thank you, folks. Have a great holiday. Enjoy your New Year. Be safe, and we'll see you next year.